Hey everybody, Nigel here with the Vasquez family, and in today's video we're going to be reacting to the second episode of What If, Marvel Studios' What If. Today's episode is about, well, it kind of goes into the scenario of what if T'Challa became a Star-Lord. So instead of picking up Peter Quill on Earth, the Ravagers would pick up T'Challa in Wakanda. So it's extremely intriguing. This one especially is going to be extremely special because this was Chadwick Boseman's last performance as T'Challa, aka Black Panther. So we definitely will hear his voice acting. It'll be extremely nostalgic, bittersweet, obviously, sad, but also just another, again, testament to what an amazing, character that Chadwick Boseman brought to the screen. And so it'll be interesting to see him, T'Challa, in an animated form, and to see where this goes. We really don't know where this whole show is going, besides just giving us different scenarios. So we really enjoyed the first episode. We thought that one was a really great start. Animation was really wicked cool.
Very cool.
Really wicked cool. So thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you guys enjoy our reaction. And let's jump in. Let's see this thing.
Let's do this.
Okay. No, we're good. Good call, Jeff. Just in case.
Oh man.
This is reminding me of the Loki one, the green and the...
Yeah.
Space.
Reality.
It's more than a linear.
Kurt Russell? He did voice acting for this?
Who knows? Ego.
It's a prison of endless possibility. What if?
I'll do you one better. Why if?
Why?
Drop it! Drop it now! Come on! This is these. Steals from the powerful and gives to the powerless. Should we be bowing? I feel like we should be bowing. Ready? Oh, yeah. Oh. At this point, my lord, don't live so far. They moved. Hit me. Classic style.
He's smiling the whole way down.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Peter Quill was a little bit more of a...
He was a
troublemaker. Yeah,
he wasn't...
Like, he didn't even have a device to capture it. He just put his hand in there, if I remember correctly.
A Ravager never flies solo.
Somebody missed their cue.
I said a Ravager never flies solo. You'd rather use it to jumpstart the Colorian's dying star, save their system from extinction. You know
It's like a Robin Hood, right?
Yeah.
As well as much as the good that can be done with it.
See?
My boy.
Right place, right time. Or in some instances,
To the Watcher in the back?
the wrong place at the wrong time.
I want that jacket.
Yeah.
You'd rock it, you'd rock it. Like cone cups.
You have to stop Thanos, the mad titan, from decimating half of the universe.
Oh, no, I'm a big enough man to admit when I'm wrong. T'Challa here showed me there was more than one way to reallocate the universe's resources.
Sometimes the best weapon in your arsenal is just a good argument.
Aye, aye, Commander.
What?
My plan.
What the heck?
Pretty sure it's still just genocide, man.
Oh my gosh.
That is so weird.
That is weird.
But I mean, it argues the point. T'Challa never really talked to him.
Let's take a picture.
We should take another one. You look terrible.
Oh, is that Nebula?
Nebula.
Nebula. Without her.
When I was young, Yondu attempted to return me to Wakanda, but it had been destroyed.
Oh no.
I'm sorry.
Just another senseless war.
Still processing the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
We are Ravagers. We do not back down from
Too
the
much
fight.
change to deal with.
Master, Yondu and I will pose as sellers.
I remember her. She got like blown up.
But really, it'll be
Well, she blew herself up,
inside.
which was awful.
I remember them from Infinity War. Now they're under the Collective.
Hold it. Security scan.
Try calling the Captain Genocide again, new guy.
Captain Genocide!
Why are they the children of Thanos there?
No, they're not the children of. They're the collectors now. It's the
They just call themselves the children of Thanos.
Thanos was a different man.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
Dude, that's like the
probably
sound
one-
of Wakanda. Man.
probably a ship that was taken from Wakanda after it was destroyed.
Yeah.
And T'Challa,
Baba.
if you are out there, you are one bright, burning light in the night sky of billions.
Oh, Jaja.
The Collector is ready for you.
Oh.
Jeez, I mean, is violence necessary? Goodness. Ah, this guy.
That's right.
Always tends to betray in one way or another.
About locking people in cages.
Thank you. I am
Aw.
forever in your debt.
Whoa.
His arm is like horrible.
What kind of being leaves a partner
Yeah.
without saying goodbye?
Something tells me this happens to you a lot.
What a while does it now? I hacked it off the carcass of a terribly cat crawler.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Of course,
Cord.
that's not yours. A dagger forged in dark matter. Taken
shield.
from the lure of the dark hills. More elegant.
Oh.
Oh, that woman has face.
The thing is, remember how Thanos killed the Collector?
Yeah.
It's kind of like if he didn't.
Oh my gosh.
It reminds me of Bad Batch in the sense that it's everything's so like quick and fast.
Oh, yes. Dude.
Never take them yourself.
Not crazy. Man.
Maybe in a flashback or something.
Oh no.
A pity.
Remember these two together are so annoying.
Remember in the movie how like
Oh. Oh no. Why are we cheering for Thanos?
I know it's so weird.
Yeah, we're cheering for
So
Thanos.
weird.
Huh?
That's what one little what music, right?
Yo.
You think this can contain me? No. No touching, Kaida. No. Oh, no, no, no. Stay, stop.
Oh man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bugatti spaceship.
Body spaceship.
Look at that, dude. Look. Trees.
I've learned anything from watching you? On any planet, among any people, there ain't no place in this galaxy where you don't belong. Where you want to be? That's the question, isn't it? You're just gonna have to follow your heart on that one, Mr. Star-Lord.
So sad, man.
My son, I knew you would find your way home to us.
Galactic hero.
My friend, that sounds an awful lot like genocide.
No, because it's random. And I might add, efficient.
Oh my gosh.
Josh Brolin.
Really wanted to took this job.
I was lost, Baba. Yondu found me.
And from one family reunion to another.
Sorry, we're close. Why, Peter? Can't spare a little time for dear old Dad?
Too bad this might spell the end of the world. But that's a story for another day.
What?
Oh yeah, because if he puts his son on his side, he's unstoppable. Remember how?
Ego is.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Chadwick.
I have no clue how they're gonna move forward, man.
No, you can't. You gotta just. He's just resting now.
Yeah, no, this is. I think this. It's easy to say that this is probably going to be one of the best episodes of this series, because you know.
And I mean, they made it not knowing too.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's. That's what's.
I feel like every breath Chadwick breathed was one of gratitude and an intense focus and connection to whoever he was talking to. You know, and some of these lines. It's funny because whether he's Star-Lord or T'Challa as Black Panther, he doesn't belong in the world, or it's just Chadwick Boseman. People like Chadwick don't belong in this world. They're sent here. You could tell they're just sent here to represent something greater than our feeble humanity, whether it's fiction or non-fiction. It's just. I agree with Josh. This will be a very difficult episode to top. Yeah, this one's really...
Yeah. And it was just so... It also carried... They did a really good job of carrying that Guardians vibe, because the Guardians movies do feel different. And, you know, I think all these episodes are going to feel very packed, because it's only 35 minutes, but, you know, with Thanos being in there and even the... I forgot his name, but the main...
Even the original Guardians came together, if you really think about it. One, because Star-Lord was, you know, Chris Pratt, and the character, right? And he was... brought up, and I know that Drax lost his family because of Thanos, but if this Star-Lord talked to Thanos and stopped him from doing evil stuff, then there's a lot of, like, I feel like Thanos was the cause of a lot of things in the Guardians movie, but because he was on their side, there was a lot more, like, there was different issues to deal with.
Yeah, it sounds like he got him pretty early on, because Nebula was still very much bone and blood and muscle. You know, she wasn't as much machine. So
yeah,
it's just funny seeing Thanos just not as much of a threat. Like the fact that we started cheering for him and didn't want him to die. We're like, no. And then when we were watching Endgame, we're like, please die. So just the two polar opposites. It's really fun.
Yeah, man. Well, I think we all really enjoyed it. What about you, Mom? What do you think?
I think for me, it's hard not to put these things in timelines and think about when this happened. The fact that we saw Captain America's shield, and I guess I wonder if they're showing us through every episode different parts of the story that got mixed up, and then somehow they might start intertwining. I don't know.
It's kind of like what they explained in Loki, though. There's, even from this branched reality, infinite more growth.
More possibilities.
Like, you know, because out of this one, what if Thanos died there instead of being able to be saved? Or, you know, things like that. So then that creates another reality.
Right.
So I think it's...
Because T'Challa goes back home. So my question is, well, what happens then? You know, is this in the future, past when he dies? Because none of the other stuff happened, so the dad's not dead. Was it before, and then later on everything else happened? So like timeline-wise, I guess my brain starts to want to piece it all together, but it's just really cool.
It's very, because even everything with Avengers, the first Avengers movie, all of that was because of Thanos. Like Loki was sent by Thanos and these other beings up in space, right? And if he wasn't really an issue, then a lot of the things wouldn't have happened, right? But like we just heard, this reality ends because the original Star-Lord that we know didn't go with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and he met his father and he followed him and became unstoppable and destroyed the planet.
World, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So also, I think, even we saw it with the first episode. You know, a lot of the origins of Hydra, which led to Winter Soldier, which led to
there wasn't weird cuts either. Because even in the first episode, they were cutting a lot.
Time jumps
and like these little collages, and it worked because it's a very complicated story. But I feel like with this one there was a lot of characters and it was very character driven and it felt like wholesome.
It looked like the theme of episode 1 was making one decision that could change everything, right? And as episode 2 was more of like being at the wrong place at the wrong time. That was kind of the line that they said as he was being captured.
Well, the right place at the right time.
No, but they said the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So I wonder how they're approaching the whole concept of time and change and, you know, realities shifting, and there seems to be a key message so far on these 2 episodes.
Well, it's for the first one, it's what if Peggy made the opposite decision to stay, and this one is what if T'Challa was at the wrong place at the wrong time. So it's like all these what if.
Yeah.
But you have to understand now too, from everything we've learned from Loki, like all of this is now only possible because of what happened in Loki, from what we understand. What the time, you know, what was his name? I guess now at this point, I guess TVA, timekeepers. What was the name they gave the guy? We called him Kang, but I forgot what they gave him in the show. But
He Who Remains.
He Who Remains. He Who Remains.
If you haven't seen the finale of Loki, sorry.
But He Who Remains, you know, like, you know, let's say the TVA did get their hands on this. The moment T'Challa went past the borders, he probably would have been taken to the TVA and probably pruned, for all we know, or something like that. Sure. Because then you keep that one timeline that we know, that we've known. You know, and now looking forward, these are all the different infinite, you know, like you said, Mom, that's why I think it's hard to kind of pick the reality and the time, and because it's literally infinite. There's no way to pinpoint exactly where, because there's so many. Yeah. So we're really seeing the chaos of.
And it's so mind bending to just put yourself in those perspectives. Like when I mentioned, as we were watching, 5 minutes later, I'm still contemplating the reality of so much shifting with one specific change.
It's the butterfly effect.
And I was having to stop thinking about what happened 5 minutes ago so I can be present in what's happening now.
The fact that Marvel's giving like just a portion of the madness that happens in the multiverse, because time is so complex, and they try to explain all of it, our heads would start hurting so bad.
And another thing too is that I don't think we'll see Wanda in any of these episodes. Right?
I think she actually is. She may be in the one with Doctor Strange, because it looks like the Doctor Strange.
Well, that would make sense. Yeah.
That's the one where he's the Sorcerer Supreme. Like, instead of Wanda, it's him. From what it looks like, I'm not sure. I really am not.
You're speculating,
possibly. Speculating. Yeah. But then there's one of Spider-Man wearing the robe that Doctor Strange has. So I have no clue where this is going.
What I love about what we've seen so far is that no matter what the scenario, it really comes down to how will these people respond? What is that decision they will make? Where they find themselves has something to do with what happens, but ultimately what happens has everything to do with how that individual responds. In the first episode, we see Agent Carter respond in her way, and we put out a poll last week, and there were so many people divided on how Steve Rogers was a certain way and how Peggy Carter was a certain way going into the Super Soldier program, and how some of those things were similar and some of those things were different. Obviously, man and woman. But what was the same is their ability to respond with a sense of selflessness, right? And we still got the hero that we needed as a first Avenger in the first episode. In this second episode with T'Challa, his response to being taken is this sense of childlike.
It's the reality of who he is.
Exactly. It goes back to the essence of who he is.
There's nothing about him that can make him turn into a Star-Lord. Honestly, if we were to see a T'Challa that was more like Star-Lord, like Peter Quill in this, it would feel weird, because it's not
right, because it's not exactly who he is. It's the essence that's the beauty, that the timeline might change, the circumstances might change, but because he is who he is, he was able to turn a Thanos into a guy that's on the right.
Right, and it also makes the change in Thanos believable, because it would take someone like T'Challa to do
That's exactly correct. Yeah. So that's what I'm loving about this, that the characters are still driving the story, the essence of who they are, and what better way to make that a very clear theme than to show us T'Challa in this very different universe, and he's still having that kind of impact.
And in these next coming up episodes, doesn't become selfless. Like that's something we're gonna see, and like negative effects of being selfish, and it just teaches what will happen.
Like the party Thor that they were
the party Thor,
Well, and you don't have to go that far ahead yet. I mean, even here we have Yondu, who was very selfish. He lied to the kid.
He always was that.
But exactly, and but it had an effect. But again, look later when T'Challa finds out, he had a choice to respond with, "I'm gonna get this guy back for robbing me of my heritage," but he didn't. He actually protected him from his father and said, "Yeah, I was lost, Dad." So all of that goes back to who are you? Like, what are you about? What do you do? What is the universe? You know, it's amazing.
T'Challa? T'Challa really. I mean, what a great way to I mean, just really this episode really shows who T'Challa is. So. So yeah, man, we really enjoyed this one. I would say we enjoyed this one more. Would you say?
Yes.
But thank you guys so much for joining us today. We want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. So comment down below. We want to hear what you thought, what you hope to see, what little things in this episode you enjoyed the most, what threw you off, what was I mean, what were those what moments for you?
Just throw it down in the comments.
There were a lot of them.
They were essentially saved by a beanstalk.
Yeah.
The beans. Magical beans.
Yeah. Wow. Man.
Those are ultimate.
Eat your veggies.
They're not even like magic beans. They're
growth veggies.
Ultimate beans.
Like magic beans on steroids.
Power food.
That's a lot.
Superfood.
Yeah,
well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next What If reaction. Go out there, spread your light, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.